And as if by magic, ho, ho, ho.
Isn't it? It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas with that intro video there. That's superb.
Well, that and the £10 we've spent on Christmas budget for our broadcast tonight, we're all sorted, Mark.
Well, I've done what I can to try and festive myself up. I'm all a dazzle.
Well, don't tug that cable because it'll pull it off the back of my lights the other end.
That's quite a long journey, mine.
The brilliance of online podcasting, eh? We can share everything here and nobody knows the distance. So welcome, matey. Our next episode, and here we are, can't believe it, Christmas, and we're still going strong with a full diary tonight and a schedule for next January as well.
Yeah, really looking forward to tonight's show. We've got a really broad cross-spectrum of different solutions and services being shared this evening. Welcome to our viewers this evening too. I hope you're starting to wind down towards the big day in a few days' time. Hopefully things have calmed down a little bit for you if you're in schools. Hopefully the DFE updates have stopped for at least 5 minutes. Never. No. Never. But I really do hope that you are finding some time to take some time to rest, recuperate. It's so important. And hopefully you'll be able to kick back for the next hour or so with Al and I and pick up a few ideas of things that might be able to help you in your school with some of the sort of issues that you face in the ways that the sort of solution providers and the EdTech that are coming on the show this evening work that can help make a big difference. One, for example, that I know of, I won't steal their thunder, but one tool coming on this evening has had a huge impact in supporting remote learning through the use of video and assessment for learning. So some fantastic tools being shared across the evening this evening. So please stay tuned. We're here right through till probably about 8:30. I'd have thought, Al, yeah?
I think about that. It depends how our discussions go. But as our regular viewers, we can say regular viewers now because we're into a series now, Mark. As our regular viewers know, we are very strict. We have our 5-minute window to introduce and check out each new solution or service. That keeps it nice and brisk for our audience and keeps us on point in terms of really getting those key messages across. And you're absolutely right. Tonight is definitely, as I like to say, a cornucopia of EdTech with all sorts of different solutions. And what's lovely is every episode we seem to get more and more varied in the solutions that are being shared. So I'm certainly really looking forward to this evening's show. I have to say, feel a little bit guilty after the term that's just gone, expecting some evening viewers to be tuning in to watch the show. But as always, as well as listening in live and hopefully sharing a few comments along the way, perhaps a retweet or two would certainly be very welcome for all the vendors who are sharing solutions this evening. You can also, as the show name suggests, check it out afterwards on YouTube, where you can watch both this episode and our previous episodes. And I think we're up to 40+ solutions we'll have covered by the end of today, Mark, in total, and growing. So really, really good way in quick bite-sized chunks to find out the real breadth of solutions that are available right now. New solutions, new updates, and all sorts of other services that are available. So, it's going to be a really, really good show. And what better way to wrap up before we head into a few days of rest and relaxation than to cogitate on a few fantastic solutions tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And welcome to everyone who's viewing. I can see some comments in the live chat already. Thanks, Mel, who's commented on my fancy necklace. I know I've spared no expense, literally, this evening to Christmas myself up. Please do get involved in the chat. We are very keen to hear what your thoughts are on the products and services that are being shared this evening as well. As Al said, please do feel free to take a screenshot or two. If something resonates with you, don't feel like you need to just say something in the chat. Of course, the chat stays on YouTube if you're viewing via YouTube, and you can see those and read those things afterwards. But if you're going to tweet, please use the Check It Out Show hashtag, all one word, Check It Out Show, as you can see on the little banner down the bottom with the Christmas tree. Please do tweet about what you see, share widely. And if you wanted to tag myself and Al in as well, I'm ICT Evangelist. You can see that, and you can see Al's Twitter handle there just below his face there as well. Welcome to Daren as well, who's presenting later on this evening. Ranga the trainer who's joining us later on this evening. Thanks for joining us. I can see him saying hello in the chat there. Welcome. You're very welcome. Looking forward to seeing you later. Thank you very much. Yeah, our next episode. Say again, sorry.
I always start our show and talk across you, which just shows my lack of professional etiquette. But one more hello to one of our most popular viewers, Sheila, who better goes by the name of my mum, Mrs. Kingsley. She's sat in hospital this evening and I know was going to be tuning in on YouTube. So just a shout out to her. Hope you get better soon and hope you enjoy the products this evening.
Oh,
there you go. That's brought it down a level, but there you are.
Yeah, Mrs. Anderson does tend to tune in, but she's got a lifetime ban from commenting, so we'll leave her well out of things there. Got Kelly Williams joining us. Hi, Kelly. Hope you're well, keeping well and around to Christmas. Lovely to see you joining us this evening as well. Our next episode is going to be taking place in January. Please make a note in your diary for that. It's coming up on, as you can see. Thank you to our fantastic show producer for bringing that up there. So 7 p.m. on the 19th of January is our next episode. Welcome to Oscar, who's tuning in from Barcelona. I know it's pronounced Oscar because we've had a conversation, so I know I'm going to get that right at least. As you well know, sharing the same name as my eldest as well. So looking to get some great products and services and ideas being shared on the show this evening. We know when the next episode is. Buenos tardes, Oscar. Very good, Daren. So I think we're about ready to go, don't you, Al?
I think we have our first guest eagerly waiting in the green room, probably nibbling away on the virtual snacks we provided. So absolutely, let's kick it off.
Brilliant stuff. So we have, with a microphone off at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come on. Then there we go. Any second. Brilliant. Welcome, Katie. How are you?
Yes, very good tonight.
Very good. Lovely to see you. A little bit of a glitch on the audio there, but hopefully it will smooth itself out. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So guess what? You should have some experience on this because I know you are a multi-producted vendor, having appeared with us before. So this evening, tell us all about your new solution, T.I.M.E.
Yeah, this piece actually on the Check It Out show. So it's doubly exciting. And I'll just say a little bit about why we created it. So he's the coach, and I met him over the summer. Well known for being a member of the Siddiqui family, also an educator, a motivational speaker, and an entrepreneur.
Katie, we're just having problems with your audio at the moment, breaking up a little bit.
Yeah,
you want
sorry,
to try
Katie.
turn your camera off?
Yeah, turn the camera off. That's fine. Do I do that?
That's better. Can you still hear us, Katie?
I can hear you. Yes. Is that better for you guys?
Yeah, the audio is much better there. Well done. Thank you. Would you like to start again? Because I missed most of what you were saying. I'm really sorry.
No problem. No problem. That's fine. So yeah, really excited to launch our new platform for schools this evening, tonight on the Check It Out show. It's called, I met Basit Siddiqui, the co-creator of T.I.M.E, during this summer on Channel 4's Gogglebox, but he's also an educator, a motivational speaker, and an entrepreneur. And we talk about teachers and the huge range of online content that's available to teachers. It seemed daunting, overwhelming, and confusing to know what's the most credible and the most beneficial platform. Focus individuals on their personal and professional development they need at a time that suits them. So imagine being able to create the ultimate inset day. with leading UK. Imagine selecting contributors without the shackles of budget and geography, and imagine everyone in the state make this a reality. T.I.M.E is a revolutionary digital training platform for UK. It's a training tool for teachers, and it's a space where parents and children can access life skills and support delivered by UK education and business specialists. And to assemble such would be academies to achieve.
Katie, I'm really sorry. We seem to be losing you from the feed again. I'm going to suggest we always get technical difficulties to kick off things, but that's fine. It's all part of being live. Katie, can I suggest you might want to just disconnect and come back in again? Mark and I'll talk about the weather and a few bits. Just give you a second to just leave and join again. See if we can get a better audio connection, because I'd hate everyone to miss the exciting reveal that you're sharing with your new solution.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I'll try again. Thank.
Yeah, well, that's always a bit of a curveball, isn't it? But I think it's a really interesting, because I know they've spent a lot of time and effort developing a great new online platform with fantastic CPD resources for schools. But as always, with every solution, the devil's in the detail, and I'd hate for everybody to get a misunderstanding about their great solution. So luckily, we started a few minutes early on our first guest, Mark. So maybe that was...
Which works quite nicely. We had a suggestion as well that we get our next presenter in next and pop Katie in on at the end, so that she gets the opportunity to sort of see if she can maybe restart a laptop or something to try to do something to give her a bit of better bandwidth. So should we look and bring Ben Norris in right now instead, Al, and then we'll come back to Katie in a little while.
Okay.
Okay, brilliant stuff. So Katie, I think, is ready. And so we've got Kazan Education now. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome to the Check It Out show to Mr. Ben Norris. Hi, Ben.
Hi there. Good evening. That's a perfect pronunciation, Mark.
Thank you.
Hi there, Al. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Both well?
Very good, thank you.
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just broken off on holiday now, so Christmas presents wrapped and cakes iced. We're ready to go.
Fantastic. And you've got a good audio stream, so we're happy too.
Wonderful. Hopefully a good view of my damp wall at the back there. So
no, it's fine. We can just see a nice little shiny star.
Perfect.
So nice conjunction going on in the background there, Ben. Can you start by sharing a little bit about what Kazan Games actually is? What is it?
Yeah, of course. So I guess we've been trying to summarize this in numerous ways over the last couple of years. And we've got to now, for us, we kind of want to see ourselves as the Rovio of education. So basically what we do is we design and build high quality mobile games and applications which help primary school children to practice and improve key skills in English and maths. So that's our kind of headline. Sitting underneath that, we've got three kind of key principles, really. And that's really to improve engagement in learning. We know that there's a huge disparity at the moment in primary education, or should we say a year ago, when things were sort of fairly normal. I guess for us, we want to try and engage as many pupils as possible and set themselves high aspirations and goals. So kind of engagement is our key driver. We then want to look more from the technological point of view of how we use the technology to provide an adaptive service. So all of our games adapt to the needs of our players. And that's one of the ways that we can use technology to improve learning. I guess that's kind of one of our key drivers. And then again, it's bringing all of that together for teachers and for parents in a portal which is easy to manage. So effectively, what we're offering are highly engaging mobile games that are underpinned by educational standards, national curriculum objectives.
That's brilliant. Who could want for more on that one? The question we always like to ask our guests, Ben, is really about that differentiator. What makes your solutions different? And you talked a bit about how they adapt for learners and other things, but what would you say are the key, unique parts of what you're offering?
Okay, so if I just sort of start by talking a little about our team. So I'm a primary school teacher. I'm a year 6 teacher and a senior leader at a primary school in Plymouth. One of my co-founders is a head teacher. 2 other of my co-founders are gamers, so they sit very much in the gaming sector and the graphic design sector. So as a team, what we have is a direct in to what's going on in education at the moment. So for us, that's a huge factor that helps us to understand pedagogy and where it sits at the moment, but also the challenges that sit within education. I mean, just to tap into what you guys talked to at the top of the show around the innovation and the adaptability required by staff at the moment across the whole educational sector. I guess what we offer is underneath our nice looking games is everything that goes with the accountability of the education and its curriculum. So to answer your question, what we like to see as how we're different is we like to be able to commit that when a child picks up our game, it's not just going to give them that enjoyment and that fun element, that practice, but we've got lots of little systems that help to reward children and encourage them to use their feedback, which then helps them to make smart choices in how they move forward within the games. So we're very much educational centered, and kind of, I guess we're lucky. We have 400 children at our disposal every day, and we hear them. We're very much entrenched in the sort of Twitter communities and education from that point of view. So as a company, I feel like we have that difference, and we're able to channel that into our products. I mean, we're fortunate. We've had a number of schools who have taken up and been early adopters of our system, and sort of they've been able to then kind of put our products up against some of the market leaders, and children have chosen Magic Spell and Times Table Go. They like it, and that's because we've listened to children all the way through this, but also because it works. So they can see an impact in their learning in the classroom, which is ultimately, when you're talking about closing the gap, that has to be the kind of end point, doesn't it? The end measure. So yeah, lots of reasons that we're different. A little bit disruptive with the games. That's kind of a little bit controversial when you sort of match that up beside education, isn't it? But we're not trying to replace teachers. We're definitely trying to add that extra bit of practice on at home at the end of the day, keeping kids engaged kind of on their own time, I guess.
You're a man from my own heart on that one, Ben. I think something Mark and I talk about, but certainly in our sector, very much we focus on, the real strengths we see now in EdTech is about co-production, vendors and educators working together, and really one in isolation is a much less likely to be successful. And you've obviously got a very handy test bed right in front of you with all your eager young learners.
Absolutely. I think for us it's quite interesting. We've got half of our team who are gamers and have always gamed. So our meetings are always interesting because you've got JJ and myself who deliver the kind of educational, this is what needs to happen. And then you've got them arguing this is what's going to engage a child who's playing, they might play Fortnite. How are we going to take them away from Fortnite and play our games? So we have these really good discussions where we're sort of using game mechanics. We use Unity to build, and the possibilities are endless in that respect. So for us, it's all about getting that educational content in, and kind of using our cognitive load theory, which we know all about at the moment, and trying to develop that into our gameplay. So it's an interesting concoction, really, but hopefully one that sets us aside a little from our competitors.
That's really interesting, Ben. I absolutely love your approach, and so thank you so much for sharing that. And you kind of answered the third question by where we're going to be asking how your product sort of best supports and serves your audience, because you've answered that in many ways, shapes, and forms with your sort of response there. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. And like Al said, working with your clients, which are the children, to get their feedback and help you develop what you're doing, I think that's a really, really class way to approach how you're developing things. So thank you very much. If people want to find out more about your games and get involved and follow you on social media and learn more about Kazow games, where do they go to?
Okay, so kazow.games is our website, and that will link into all of our social media channels. Everything we offer is completely free for schools at the moment. So we just want to get people on board using our products and giving us feedback, really. So that's our primary objective at the moment. So we'd love to see people signing up through the site. And then at Kazow Ed is our Twitter feed, which I know is coming up on the screen at the moment as well. So, I mean, we can only thank you guys for the work you're doing and having us on here. And I think, like you said at the top of the show, kind of just kind of taking our hats off to everyone who's adapting. And that's parents at home as well, isn't it? Working, keeping the plates of learning spinning as well. So thank you. And thanks for having us on, and kind of Merry Christmas to you all in your community as well.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Before you disappear, Ben, he's gone. See, I always do that. Before you disappear, welcome back. With my parent hat on for a second, Christmas holidays, if you've got any parents watching, is it possible for parents to download the games for their children to access and use during the holidays if it isn't school sanctioned?
Yeah, of course. There's so we also have apps for parents as well to download, and they're available on both of the Google Android, Google Play stores and Apple. But again, if you go onto our website, that'll direct you and give you some more information about the games and how they work as well. So any parents at home, we'd love to hear your feedback, and we know that your children will be engaged. All of our data tells us that, and they will improve as well. So get on through the website, and we'll look forward to kind of hearing how people get on.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. Thank you ever so much for coming back on that one, Ben. Cheers. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
You're welcome. Take care, guys. Merry Christmas.
Cheers. Thanks.
Well, brilliant. Okay. I love it when they talk about really community there, because it's teachers, students and parents all getting together. I think the other thing that really resonated with me is we've had some great solutions over the last few months. But when we see solutions in there, I'm going to say in their infancy, clearly they're a long way in that journey. So infancy is perhaps a bit too soon. But in the broader sense, this isn't exactly why the Check It Out show really exists, because it's not only a platform to showcase fantastic solutions like we just heard about, but also an opportunity just to get people to give it a try. Free solutions right now, give it a try, and actually help the evolution of the product by providing feedback. So hopefully there's some willing young people and parents and educators that want to check it out and share some feedback to the team that will help it evolve to even greater heights.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do to try and support that, I think, is a worthwhile endeavour, because, like I always talk about teachers and education being a force for good. Actually, we're all in it together, aren't we? We're all doing this to try and help improve outcomes for young people. So yeah, and just a fantastic story there from Ben and Kazow as well. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So next up, who's next up, Mr. Kingsley? Let's have a little look. I think we've got Morrison down next on my list. Is that right?
It certainly is.
From Tassimai. I'm sure that Murray will put me correct on my pronunciation there. Evening, Murray. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Murray.
Hello. Yeah, it's Tassomai normally, although we get all sorts of pronunciations, to be honest. So we'll take it however. Yeah, it's really good of you to have me on. Thanks very much.
Congratulations on the wallpaper you've got behind you there, your backdrop.
This is my blackboard. I live in front of my blackboard nowadays, and yeah, I've been doing some tutoring. I do volunteer free tutoring for students around the country every evening, really, and I've just been doing photosynthesis. I'm trying to make it Christmassy.
It looks very Christmassy from here. A thumbs up from that one.
Is that photosynthesis with a Christmas tree? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they still do it, right? I mean, I hope.
Fingers crossed.
So
yeah, my biology sort of goes back to that. I think it still works for Christmas trees. So, Murray, could you tell us a little bit about Tassimai and what Tassimai is, please?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a software, an app or a computer program we've been used in schools for years, but previously I developed it really for my own students. So we've been running for quite a long time. Tassimai is an online education program that basically gives students really powerful adaptive practice to help them master the knowledge they need for whatever they have coming up, whether that's their school curriculum or exams. And I built it really to make my students as brilliant at practicing and revising as possible. But I used as a sort of inspiration or a framework the way musicians or athletes, professional athletes practice. So the idea is about practice to mastery, about really clever adaptive practice where you repeat and focus in on areas of weakness, get that immediate feedback and correction, and then you set that level of challenge that's constantly differentiating to make it challenging but interesting and rewarding for students. The other thing we do is then give both students and their parents and their teachers, crucially, really detailed data and feedback on exactly where their strengths and weaknesses lie. So we're a tremendous labor-saving device for teachers who can use that data to really get to grips with where the gaps are. And as a result, we're used in several hundred schools around the country and by thousands of families.
Fantastic. Now, the second question won't be a surprise to you, but I'll shape it slightly differently for you. Why Tassomai?
Why Tassomai? Well, we are long established as being pretty much the most effective and powerful kind of education support tool in this field. We're highly accessible, and I think that's one of the key things. It takes a student moments to get set up and running with it, and they can access our content really easily and quickly. And because the way we write our content to fit on our platform, it can really leverage the power of the algorithms to be to suit their exact needs and let them focus on exactly what they need. And we cover English literature and maths, and we're best known for science through the whole secondary age from sort of year 7 to year 11 and plus. So we're really perfectly adapted to get results. And crucially, we do get results. We've just got bags of evidence that this really closes the attainment gap. It helps students of all ability levels because of the adaptive nature of the program. And people vote with their feet. We have hundreds and hundreds of schools using Tassomai as exclusive homework, really, instead of having to do that setting and marking themselves.
We certainly all like evidence-informed tech. That's always a big thumbs up. So that's always a good start, Murray. You talked about the solution being really accessible. From a young learner's point of view, is it browser-based? Is it app-based? How would they access the solution?
Well, you can do anything. So we obviously can be accessed via any kind of browser on a computer or an iPad or so on, but we also have standalone apps that run on iPhones or Android and so on. Yeah.
And is that then managed and overseen by a login system with a teacher or a head of science department? Let's say if I was a science head of department and wanted to run this as something within my science department, how would I go about managing that and seeing all these sort of insights into learner progress?
It's really exciting, actually, from a teacher's perspective. As I say, I built it for my own students and found it's really powerful for me to kind of see where the gaps are for students. So once you set it up for a class, they just put in the code and they're up and running. Within minutes, you can start to see this picture growing of students' knowledge and where the gaps are. So it's really quick to be able to plan your revision or your reteaching of topics. The other thing we've launched, which is really exciting, has been a passion project of mine for a long time this year, is what we call the tree. Not this tree exactly, but where we're also showing to the student, a picture of their knowledge. What's lovely to see then is as they use the program, that tree grows, and you can see exactly where the strengths and weaknesses lie as to where the tree is kind of growing healthy green leaves or not so healthy autumnal sort of orange leaves. So from my perspective, doing this tuition that I do for students on the app, it's free tuition every evening. I can see in an instant where my students' gaps are and get right to grips with it. But then any teacher can do that too. They've got that data to hand. The enormous amount of time they've saved means they can put that time into really helping their students.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you. If you want to find out more about Tassomai, Murray, where do they go to find out more and get signed up and all of that?
Come to our website. We do half-term long free trials for schools. As you say, like evidence-based is so important. So it's really important schools actually try out and see if it fits in their context and whether they can implement it right. Just come to our website, tassomai.com. If you can spell it, that's half the battle. And then, yeah, have a look through it. We do CPD and training and trials and see how it works for your students.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing, Murray. And a word of recommendation, really. Someone I work with a fair amount, Bookie Yusuf, who's also a science teacher by trade, is in the live chat. And she says, "Great to see Murray from Tassimai here. It really is a useful platform." And that for me is a good endorsement indeed from Bookie. Thank you for joining us as well, Bookie, this evening. Hope you're having a good evening. So yeah, it sounds really good. I'm definitely going to be sort of digging into it and checking it out more myself, Murray. Thank you very much indeed. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Well, very nice to see Bookie on the chat. I've had the pleasure of meeting her a couple of times, and really nice to see her getting good use out of the program. So I'm thrilled with that endorsement. Thank you.
Thank you, Murray. It's another great solution to add to the list.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds really interesting, and one that's new to me as well. So fantastic to learn new things. And that's part of the sort of purpose of the show, really, isn't it? To learn new things and find out about what's actually out there. It's nice. Anna Pedrosa from Pedrosa Comms is joining us this evening as well, and she's sort of saying she's worked with Tassimai as well, and I think that their product really does engage students in their learning as well. So thank you for that comment, and thank you for joining us as well. Anna, I think you're a fan, I would say. I think you've been in every episode so far, so thank you for joining us again this evening, Anna. Thank you very much for that. Next up on the show. Sorry, I've talked over you there. You carry on. Sorry.
Right, we're allowed to do that for each other. I was just going to say, I'm also think we're both fans of free, and it's great when we hear about all these solutions that schools can actually try. We know how tight budgets are, so getting a chance to actually try and make sure it fits for your learners and your environment is absolutely key at the moment. So great to hear that as well.
No,
are we going to move on to our next guest, Mark?
Yes, our next guest is Shaun Baker of Noble and Eaton. Welcome to the show, Shaun.
You're not supposed to do the surprise until the crackers opened.
That's true. Sorry, I'm like that at the Christmas dinner table as well. I know all the jokes. I've already told them.
Good evening, Shaun. How are you?
Good evening. Season's greetings. How are you both?
We're doing good, thank you.
Thank you.
I was just trying to work out which one of you is Ant and which one's Deck. You've really let yourselves go over this period, but hey.
Well, it's a pleasure to see you too, sir.
Yeah, well, welcome, Shaun.
I've tried. I've put my Christmas jumper on for you. What more do you want?
That's a good. Made the effort. So let's kick off tonight's proceedings, Shaun, if we may, with not too much formality, but tell us all about your great solution.
Yeah, sure. I guess that a lot of your viewers and listeners won't really understand or know who Noble and Eaton are. But when I tell them that they've grown out of a huge heritage, which is EnvoPlan, then they'll probably know the name. And when I talk about huge heritage, I mean a business that's been around for 50 odd years almost, and been supplying services such as design and build, furniture, product, and even manufacturing to the education market in all that time. So there's a huge heritage there to draw upon, and Noble and Eaton have basically grown out of that business, really because we found ourselves looking more and more beyond the parameters of an initial project and taking more of a strategic overview and a much deeper dive into the what's, the whys, and the wherefores of the requirement. And that's enabled us to create a much more considered and a much better focused proposal for our clients. So we decided that we would set this up as a separate entity that can then supply strategic overviews and consultancy to the client base. Now, as a business, people know that EnvoPlan are very much based on clients for life. And in that respect, they'll take on an opportunity that's anything from a few £100 right the way through to construction of a new unit, or just multiple millions and everything in between. So we felt it was right to divorce the sort of the strategic piece away from that part of the business. Now you're going to ask me, so what is our solution, aren't you? And but really, what we've done is we've partnered with a whole host of leading lights and education leaders who have been in the industry for decades, and we worked with for a long time. But what they do is they bring their specific benefits to us as an organization and ultimately to our client base. And it's understandable when we're looking at projects for our clients that, they have a day job, they have something they have to focus on, and they can't really give their all to the project in hand. And they tend to focus purely on that one individual moment in time, be it the refurbishment of a classroom or trying to look at something else. But they don't look at that big strategic piece. And that's where we think that we can make some really sort of big savings of money for our clients, big saving on time as well, because ultimately you've got a day job to do. You do not want to be dealing with these multiple users that you've got to get into a program and run yourself. So we are that person that can do that. We are that business that can do that for the schools.
Sounds very much like a one-stop shop of experts there, Shaun.
Very much so, yeah. But it's based on real life data. We have a lot of data sets that prove the absolute correlation between the school environments, the well-being of the students, but also sort of the attainment of the grades as well. So we're able to prove the benefits of doing certain things. Now, we also have a heritage that's based in the commercial fit-out world, and we're finding that world is becoming closer and closer to the education world and vice versa. And so we have lots of data based around that as well that show how certain environments help people focus, concentrate, switch off, do whatever they need to do, collaborate with other groups of people. And so we're just trying to bring that into the education market. And we're really focused on transforming schools and the education environments for the benefit of all.
That's really interesting, Shaun. Thank you. Al sort of used the phrase "one-stop shop" for schools. Could you give an outline? You mentioned Envo Plan and the build and furniture side of things as well. Could you give an overview of the other sort of strategic services that are on offer from Noble and Eaton to give our viewers that sort of cross spectrum of what is actually on offer?
Yes, certainly. And one thing that we're acutely aware of now is that all the schools, especially independent schools, are in competition with each other. And therefore, it's important that they get their branding right, they get their marketing right, that the culture of the school is correct, that the people that they're employing are the best people they can get, that the staff retention and recruitment are as good as it can possibly be. And we're able to do all of that for a school. We're able to get involved, get under the skin, understand who that school is, what they're all about, and then assist them in making sure that they do everything to the most efficient and the best way that they possibly can.
Well, we certainly know at the moment one of the rarest capacities, one of the rarest available things in schools is capacity, and certainly being able to have that external kind of expertise and skill set to maximise the return on any projects is always a big bonus right now.
Absolutely, and we can assist with everything from fundraising and bid writing, right through to as I say, the master planning and that strategic infrastructure development that all schools should be doing. They should be looking at the whole picture, not at just that one little project, because ultimately, if you look at the bigger picture, you're going to make an awful lot more savings, both in time and money. And hopefully, there are many moments that we come across within schools where we believe that we can save an awful lot of money.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shaun. Sounds a bit like our digital strategy, Mark, for one little window.
Absolutely.
It's always about bigger picture, isn't it?
Yeah. Always. And I think that it's understandable that the teaching staff and sometimes the real estate staff don't have the time to do that. And that's very much our focus, and that's what we can bring to the table.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Shaun. I think we've had the sort of website address and all that sort of come across the bottom. But if you missed it, Shaun, can you just share your Twitter handle and the website for our viewers, please?
So it's Noble and Eaton, and Eaton is EATON. And the Twitter handle is the same. It's all floating across the bottom. I can see it now. So please do get in touch. I'm sure that we can help you. And like I say, let's plan for the long-term future, not just sort of short-term gains.
Fantastic. And on behalf of me and him, Deck, thank you, Shaun.
No, cheers. Happy Christmas to you both.
And to you, sir.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm on a slightly lighter front myself this evening, but very good. I was thinking more smashy and nicey myself, Al, rather than the old Anton deck thing. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the Anton deck's slightly younger, so I'm going to go with anything that's younger works good for me.
Okay.
Really interesting.
Then.
That's a really interesting one there, because we always talk about products, but what we don't always talk about is capacity and resource. So a really nice, different aspect and focus, but another one that's really important for schools at the moment. Certainly any schools looking at any kind of transformative process that they've got underway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to jump ahead to later on today. Tony Sheppard was due to come on, but after seeing his comment about George and Zippy in the live chat, I'm wondering whether or not we might not be able to have time to fit Tony in later. I just
That was my
I can't talk because I'm just.
We'll wait for comments now for the rest of the cast.
Next up on the show this evening, and I won't spoil the animated GIFs thunder, we have Natterhub, preparing children to thrive. And our guest from Natterhub this evening is Caroline Allams. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And another very lovely backdrop there. Lovely tree, I can see.
Well, thanks, but I do have to tell you, it was only put up about 15 minutes ago, much to the horror of my children. But we're in the middle of renovating, so we're a bit behind schedule.
Looking spot on to me. Looks very nice.
I think we've all got matching glasses.
Oh, we might have.
Yeah.
Well, we seem to be linked to TV shows this evening, so we could be the three Ronnies.
Yeah, let's be the three Ronnies.
Oh dear. Caroline, Natterhub, could you share a little bit about what Natterhub is, please? I'm not quite sure.
Yes, I'd love to. Natahub is a safe, gated educational social media platform designed specifically for primary schools. I am 20 years primary school experience myself. I'm also a parent. And in terms of providing a solution, it just struck me that it was pretty horrifying, this idea that we just let children loose on the internet, a space that was never really designed for children in mind. And given that it's such a prevalent form of communication and such an abstract space, it was really clear to me that it's a really difficult space for children to perceive potential risk. And a lot of my teaching experience was in Key Stage 1. And I really understand the idea that children learn through doing and learn through play. And so we have developed a sandbox environment which looks and feels like social media, but is a space where children learn everything to do with being on a screen. So whether that's your relationship with your screen, the time spent on a screen, how we communicate, the nuance of our language that we use when we're communicating on a screen, what to look out for, how to be safe and savvy. And Natahub is part of Twinkle Hive, which is an accelerator hub living happily within Twinkle, but we are a separate company. And we launched early because of the lockdown situation. We weren't due to launch until September, but we launched in April so that teachers and children could stay connected together in a safe space, because we know the thing that came out from primary schools was the key thing that children missed more than anything was the social aspect of being in school. So it's very child friendly, it's very engaging. Children love being in that environment because it feels real. And so we know that in terms of a solution, there are too many children that are encountering negative digital experiences. And so by having this space for a classroom, it was designed for schools, 4 classrooms. We've got over 200 interactive lessons on digital literacy that build digital resilience, that teach digital kindness and build empathy and the importance of empathy and the role that it plays when we are communicating online. Everything is curriculum aligned. Of course, we now have the RSE curriculum, which is really heavily biased towards digital issues and online safety. And so we've linked everything to the curriculum, the new UKISS document, which is fantastic, the Education for a Connected World. And so what we've managed to do is create a space that looks like it's only been designed for children in mind. So in terms of engagement, it's really appealing for children, but it's super easy for teachers. We really have allowed children to have this opportunity to have social media and digital literacy role model to them, so it becomes a very positive experience, so that they are learning metacognitively to make the right choices. I think your next question about how are we different is really that we are an experiential learning environment. So as I say, using this metacognitive approach so that it's a really impactful moment, so that they are really learning how to build relationships and communicate in a digital way. I mean, the best analogy really is this notion of you wouldn't put a child in a swimming pool without teaching them how to swim. And nor would you teach them how to swim without putting them in the pool. So by creating this safe gated space, it's a really important way to build on these crucial digital skills. But I think we're very much an EdTech product that's teaching human qualities, because we are building digital resilience and kindness, and asking children to reflect on what they would do in different situations. So the whole notion of learning about online safety and being on a screen means that it's very relevant and age appropriate, and they are applying. They're not just learning the knowledge, they're not just taking it all in, they're not being told didactically do this, but they're actually then able to apply their knowledge and use it in a space that feels real. My time.
You've covered that brilliantly. You've preempted all those bits, and you get an extra thumbs up from me, because I think all solutions that promote digital citizenship, and I love the fact you highlight digital kindness, get an extra thumbs up from us, and that's the way that it absolutely should be. And you've clearly been incredibly busy. The big question we want to ask, which I hope will be beneficial to you, is how do people go about finding out more about your solution and giving it a try?
Well, you can go to natterhub.com, at Natterhub, the handle's on there at the bottom, which is brilliant. You can sign up straight away for a free trial. Even without subscribing, there's elements of the platform that are free. Yeah, just have a play and enjoy all the functionality and the UI that we've created, because it's a very engaging, child-friendly space.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me,
Caroline. Thank you.
Have a very happy and safe holidays.
Yes, you too.
Absolutely.
Thanks again. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and to you. Good luck with the renovations as well.
Another great solution there, Mark. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's lovely. There's this somebody from T.I.M E, I think it is, one of the co-founders of T.I.M E, Siddiqui Education. So I'm very sorry, I've forgotten your first name, but he's in the live chat saying Natahub is a great idea. I always use the whole, our kids have to cross the road, but we have to show them the right way to do it first approach. And I think that's one of the lovely things we sort of heard there from Caroline, really, with the opportunity to practice things in a safe walled garden, and you know, those things around kindness and respect and all those sort of qualities we'd expect IRL, as it were. Things virtually as well. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Caroline's got a thumbs up there from Tony Sheppard as well, which is always good.
Superb. I missed that one. Where's that one?
I was going to say, Tony's just shared, so happy about the approach Natahub take, which is, again,
brilliant.
Thumbs up there.
I was still smarting from George and Zippy, see, sorry.
Don't you worry, Bungle, we're doing all right.
Brilliant. So next up on the Checkout Out Show this evening, we have You Teach Me. So joining us from YouTeachMe this evening, we have, I believe, the founder, Paul Rose. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Evening. Hi, Mark. Hi, Al. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
See, I'm half wishing I'd gone for the Santa hat approach rather than this. It's getting a bit warm, to be honest.
Well, I haven't got a Christmas tree behind me like Caroline had, so I figured I better do something at least a little bit Christmassy.
Oh, a point for effort there, Paul. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, well, welcome to the show, Paul. Thank you for joining us. Could you share a little bit about what YouTeachMe is, please?
Sure. So YouTeachMe is a video teaching platform, I guess you could call it, that grew out of my experiences of being a head teacher turning around a failing school. So 11 years ago this week, I broke up at the end of my first term of my first headship, and it was a difficult journey. At one point, about 2 years in, I had an overdue Ofsted inspection, standards half the national average, and 2/3 of my teaching staff were in their NQT year. So I looked around for a technology that would enable my vastly inexperienced staff to learn from more experienced teachers. And it didn't exist, so I did it the analog way. I paid them to get in their cars, and I sent them out to outstanding schools to go and observe with consultants, etc. And it worked. We turned the school round. We quadrupled standards in 2 years, and then I thought, well, the technology didn't exist when I needed it. I ought to go and build that technology that I was looking for. So I quit my job, and 7 years ago started working on how you use technology to transform the experience of everybody working in schools.
Fantastic. Well, that's a good reason to go out and do something as impactful as that. And obviously, you've got that experience to kind of build on that. One of the questions we always like to ask, Paul, is really that kind of differentiator about what makes your solution different. Now, obviously, you've kind of spoilt my thunder slightly by starting off by saying when you started your journey, there wasn't anything else available.
Well, yeah, I think what the difference between us and other technology products and offerings that I'm aware of, and I'm by no means an EdTech expert at all, but you know, I look around and see lots of people doing great work solving day-to-day challenges that schools face. So whether that's helping children learn specific things, whether that's recording the progress that the children are making and working with assessment and those kinds of things. What I'm working on and what we're working on at YouTeachMe is how you solve those fundamental problems in the education system. So how you help all teachers to be more effective, whether they are in training, whether they're recently qualified, whether they are new to a year group, new to a school, whether they are taking on challenges that they've never taken before. How do you bring people together so that they are able to watch and learn from each other and support each other's teaching? We're also thinking very, very carefully about how we resolve the inclusion challenges in the education system, how we upskill all staff and parents who are looking to support children of all needs, and doing it in a way that actually reduces workload, improves professional development, and effectively turns the education system into something that we can all be proud of.
Cool. That's really interesting, and it sounds like you're doing an awful lot within the system. How do you actually approach that within the actual platform, Paul? I know this is going off piece from the actual question, but how do you achieve these things that you're talking about within the platform?
So it took 7 years to build YouTeachMe because I was a mainstream infant teacher, and as I built a service that worked for infant teachers, and then as I took it out and I started to interact with other schools, junior schools, secondary schools, they started to say, well, actually, it works for us if it was tweaked slightly, if it worked slightly differently. Then it became special schools. We're working with PMLD schools, we're working with autistic schools. Then it became deaf schools. As of this September, we've just started working with the hospital school at Queen's Medical Centre. All of them work slightly differently. And so we've done 7 years of iteration quietly in the background, led by schools who said, we can transform everything we do if only it was able to do these things. So we are able to work completely bespokely with every school that we work with, and any school. It's a single interface, but it's got the flexibility built into it that enables a deaf teacher to teach Pythagoras theory in sign language, a teacher working in a special school to be able to teach life skills, to be able to teach independent bus travel, a teacher in a mainstream school to be able to teach early reading, early writing, whatever it is that anybody wants to be able to do, the system that we've created with schools is able to help them do it. One of the most powerful aspects is the fact that we bring schools together so that they can watch and learn from each other. So we've got teachers in special schools who are using teaching that's been happening in mainstream schools to support special educational needs learners. And similarly, we've got deaf teachers who are sharing their knowledge and expertise, and we're working to make that accessible so that hearing parents can support it, hearing teachers can support it, and so on.
It's really interesting, Paul. And another good example of co-production at work there. And so many of the best solutions we see, evolve over time, working with schools to enhance and adapt solutions to be on the point. So a lovely one to hear. The big question we always ask, of course, the really important one is how would people go about finding out about your solution and having a chance to have a look at it?
Sure. If they go to YouTeachMe.co.uk, and on there they'll find information that comes a little bit from us, but predominantly from head teachers, from teachers, and from support staff who we went in and interviewed towards the end of lockdown 1 and said, would you just talk about your experiences pre-COVID and during COVID in terms of impact on teaching, impact on professional development, impact on relationships with parents, etc., etc. So there's dozens of videos on there of people who work in schools who have far more interesting things to say than I do, because they're rooted in fact, and rather than just my opinions on things. And also on there, there's a button that you can click and book a slot and have a demo of it. And the demos are bespoke to the needs of the schools, whether it's a deaf school, a hospital school, a mainstream school, or whatever. I'll tailor the demonstration to your needs.
Fantastic, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing all of that, Paul. Sounds really, really interesting. I'll be having a look myself and checking it out. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, Paul. And, Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry Christmas.
Take care. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Sounds really interesting, that does, Al. You've frozen. Oh, you're back. There we go. That might be me.
Very slow mover, Mark. No, again, nice bit of diversity to the different solutions we're sharing tonight. And it is nice. We've got a real mix on the show. But, tools that help develop and build training and supporting particularly professional development of teachers within schools, never more than ever, really, because let's be honest, at the moment, the option to be going out to different events and CPD activities has been diminished. So we've got to use technology more effectively, haven't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was lovely seeing Tony's comments about YouTeachMe. He said they love the analog nature of things like ICT register back in the past. But YouTeachMe seems to take that so much further. It does really sound like it could be really fantastic. Even just that opportunity to see other teachers teaching in and of itself is a fantastic sort of professional learning opportunity. So it sounds like there's lots of great features to YouTeachMe that could be of interest to lots of people in education.
Absolutely. So have we decided, Mark, whether we're going to let the next guest come on the show or not?
I believe the next guest is not who I think you're talking about. Oh, no, it is actually my mistake. You're absolutely right. And I have just mentioned it is indeed Mr.
Tony Sheppard.
I had you wrong for a second there, Tony. Thank you very much. Who ate all of the, sorry, what was that?
Mince pies.
Oh, I know somebody who likes mince pies.
Well, I've got to keep in shape. That's all I can say. A round shape, but it's in shape.
Very good to see you, Tony. I hope you're keeping well.
I am. It's been a brilliant session to watch so far.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you. Very kind. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments in the chat as well.
Absolutely. Just going to comment. You're quite quiet, Tony, on your mic at the moment. Just
Am I? I shall try and enunciate a bit more. Is that better?
Fantastic. Okay, so would you like to tell us about your new service?
So my data protection world looks at how EdTech companies can better understand and support the difficulties schools face around data protection and privacy. In the present climate, there's a constant demand that schools make use of almost any and every online tool that is available, looking to find the solutions that give the best impacts for children. We know this, but schools have to balance between remote teaching and online learning, and that's an all too familiar conversation that you've been having on here with lots of people that have been speaking through your digital strategy, and it will go on for some time. And there are quite a number of good resources around to help support schools with understanding what they should be doing around data protection and privacy, whether through the guidance that came out through the DfE's data protection toolkit for schools, whether it's from companies such as my former colleagues at GDPR on Schools who are on here talking about their recent developments, and the wealth of knowledge that you get from data protection officers, whether they're in-house or whether they're a service that you buy in. But schools still face an uphill battle. In the same time that many are trying to help schools understand that data protection and privacy are an issue that needs to be had a look at, it's quite often as a bolt-on to online safety, if we're being honest. And EdTech companies face difficulties about how best to introduce what their solutions have an impact on within the schools. So Caroline from Natterhub mentioned about education for a connected world. It's surprising how few EdTech vendors actually know that that exists. And that's actually something that's a really useful and beneficial tool for them to understand the expectations around competency and understanding that children will have. And also how they can help schools get the message over to children about what's being used. Now, where EdTech companies deal directly with schools, there's no code of conduct or code of practice for them to follow. And in an age where there's constant change due to court decisions, Brexit, and so on, vendors still have to be clear about the messages they get to their schools. If we think about healthy eating, we can clearly see on food that we buy information. That doesn't really exist within the data protection world or in the online world. Yes, everyone's meant to have nice privacy notices that explain things, but we all know that the best way of teaching and explaining is by doing as children are learning. So that means before children start logging on to something, it's a case of, well, yeah, this is how we protect you. This is how we look after you. This is what's to be expected. This isn't going to change overnight. This is going to be something that has to go on for some time, but we have to make a collective start between schools, EdTech vendors, and folk like ourselves who sit in the middle, almost translating some of it or helping steer the way as people go along. As organizations come up with new solutions, it's good for them to take account of, are we doing things the right way? Are we thinking about privacy and how it can be understood what we do within the classroom? Now, let's face it, it's an extremely dry subject. I'd love to say that it was one of the sexiest things in the world, and and they're going to be making lots of films about it, and think actually most of the films that they have made about things like this haven't done particularly well. Social network, possibly. Will we ever see a social network version of, sort of the EdTech demonstrator schools within, I don't think so, somehow. So we need to think about what we can do to make things a little bit more sensible. And yes, the education for a connected world is probably one of the best ways of doing that, combined with things like the ICO's accountability toolkit, and also talking with schools and the breadth of knowledge and expertise people have about EdTech that's happened over the years. I'd love to say that, there are some fantastic things that are coming on that are being shown. A lot of the concepts behind them are things that have been done before, but they're being done better now. And that's because people are thinking and listening and working on things. What we're trying to do is actually be part of that conversation to make sure that when they are thinking about these things, when they are starting to think about safeguarding, which they should be, are they also thinking about privacy as well?
Brilliant. Thank you, Tony. And I think I see the countdown clock there moving to the 5-second mark. I think it's really important. I mean, Mark and I both have known you for many years. And if you're looking at developing solutions, frankly, any solutions, but particularly in the EdTech space, and you're looking for a go-to person who can steer you in the right direction and make sure you're following the right processes and considering the right risks, I would always be the first to put a big thumbs up for Mr. Sheppard. So definitely a resource that I would recommend. And I think Mark has obviously...
And our second and third that as well, Tony. For our viewers, Tony, can you share where they could... It's good, we've obviously got lots of EdTechs watching and listening as well, which I'm guessing are your sort of prime audience. Where can people find out more about engaging with you to sort of get this best advice?
On Twitter, I'm on My World of Data. So people can get me through there, or the website, which is coming on screen, mydataprotection.world, which is slowly filling up with content and some free bits and pieces. I mean, one of the things that I would say is we all know that people can take the wrong meaning from things that are being said through EdTech vendors and things like that. And we just want to try and help everybody just use a bit of clear language and just have things as transparent as possible.
Well said, sir, and thank you, Tony. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and hopefully we'll see you in the new year.
Okay, take care.
Take care, Tony. Thanks. Yeah, it's so important. And that thing around plain English as well. I mean, obviously, there's been a bit of controversy this week with the sort of best writing awards this week and things from Orwell and Russell. But as was written in that brilliant essay, plain English, spoken really clearly, words of one syllable, keeping things as plain as possible is so useful for everyone understanding what it is actually that you're going on about. He says using words with 25 syllables in. Clearly,
we all know that the likes of professionals like Tony can save you days of mistakes and research and finding out things. And I think, we all have a moral obligation to make sure we're doing the right things and taking the right steps and protections. So really, really relevant and useful one for today's show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'd like to introduce our next guest, Mr. Kingsley.
Yes. And it is FUNecole. And hopefully we have...
yes.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Nice to be here. Very nice.
Show.
Congratulations on your show.
Thank you very much. It's all about the twinkly lights tonight. So lovely to see you. So I'm really excited to hear about this one. The name itself gets me interested to find out more. So tell us about FUNecole.
Yes, fun is for fun and école is for school in French. So it's an integrated word, such as FUNecole, which is a comprehensive solution that enables the development of the whole child by supporting science, technology, reading, writing, engineering, arts, mathematics, and social science in the K6 education. FUNecole is an award-winning solution, actually, holding the international standard for technology and education seal of alignment, the ISTE standard, and endorsed by Cambridge International Assessments for supporting the Cambridge ICT Starters Initial and Next Steps qualification since 2012. So the differentiating factor is that FUNecole supports and develops and assesses technical skills such as computer science, digital literacy, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, throughout a social emotional development of every child. FUNecole aligns with several curricula, such as a British National Curriculum, the USA Core Common Standard, while supporting technologies such as Microsoft, Google, and Apple. So teachers have actually the freedom to choose from different directions and curricula, and the students have the autonomy to use and blend multiple apps and tools to creatively and collaboratively solve problems. FUNecole is fully structured 6-year framework with flexible and adaptable content to suit the needs of learners, students, and teachers alike. It's a structured and systemic solution and not just a library of digital resources, reducing significantly teacher lesson preparation while boosting fun and enjoyment for the students. So FUNecole children do not ever want to leave the class, and they enjoy being there. FUNecole offers detailed analytics of student performance and classroom progress. So that's all from me. If you want to ask me more information, I can give you.
Thank you, Chryso. You mentioned, and I come at this as from somebody you've demonstrated this to me yourself personally, so I've seen it before, but you talked about how FUNecole can help with lesson preparation. Workload is a huge issue for teachers the world over. And I was particularly impressed with how FUNecole helps with lesson planning. Could you share a little bit more about that, please? I think that'd be of real interest.
Because we have a lot of content in FUNecole, all the lessons are pretty much prepared, but they have multiple elements in each lesson are included. Therefore, giving the teachers the ability and the agility to structure the lesson according to group dynamics, and therefore not having to think of what am I going to teach today, what kind of video am I going to be showing, is it going to really add value to my teaching using all these technologies. Therefore, everything is there, is suggested, and the teachers can freely choose whatever suits them for that particular audience, for that particular day. And all the teachers in a school can work using FUNecole collaboratively using streams that I previously mentioned. Is STEM, but we have extended it to streams, including social emotional learning and reading and writing.
For teachers asking about your solution, Chryso, what would you say would be the unique features that differentiate your solution?
The kind that it blends all the technologies. We work with Microsoft, as I said before, with Google, with Apple. Therefore, within the same context of the same class, they can some children can choose to use Microsoft to solve a problem or to develop something, Google, or maybe a Storybook Weaver, anything. They can choose any kind of technology. And we have the single sign-on. We work with a lot of vendors and a lot of platforms. Therefore, FUNecole, and also we work with a lot of curricula, like the British curriculum, the American curriculum, the Common Core standards, all of that. Therefore, it suits everybody and everybody's needs.
Real breadth there, isn't there, Mark?
Yes, and we have been there for 20 years.
Fantastic. So I suppose the important one is, with such a breadth that's available there, if schools or want to find out more, how would they go about getting to take a look at your solution?
On Twitter and mostly on funecole.com. Online, they can ask for free trials. They can ask for support, for trainings. Whatever is they need is available.
Fantastic.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us this evening, Chris. So lovely to see you again, and hope to get to see you again soon.
Okay, thank you very much, both of you, and congratulations on your show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Take care. Thank you.
I can see there could be quite a lot of the holiday time taken up trying all these great solutions, to be honest. It's some really great.
I'm pleased in some respect that I've had a heads up on a few of them, but I mean, I've still got to do my homework on some of these myself as well, because I'm just so like, oh my goodness, on a personal interest front, but also a bit selfishly with Kazow with the games for my boys and so forth and so on. There's so many great takeaways from this evening's show. I'm buzzing. And that's not just because I've got these fairy lights around my
bit of interference, eh?
That's right. Next up, we have a solution, and I'm not going to steal any thunder because these animations are so fantastic. That's right. It is Edpuzzle. Really excited to hear more about this. This is something that was actually featured on the Advent calendar just a week or so ago, Al. So something that's I'm a big fan of as well. So welcome to the show, Celia. And where in the world are you, Celia?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Where in the world are you tonight?
Well, I used to live in the UK for about 10 years. So when I saw the cracker, I was a bit nostalgic because this Christmas are my first Christmas back in Barcelona. So I will miss a cracker this year. Yeah, but yes, I'm from sunny Barcelona at the moment.
Well, at least you've had a virtual cracker this year, at least.
Yeah, I was happy because of that.
We'll have to send you. We'll have to send you the gift so that you can play it over and over on Christmas Day.
Yes, do that. I'll be happy.
Well, welcome to the show, Celia.
Sorry, Al.
I was going to say, welcome to the show. Tell us all about Edpuzzle.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today. So, hi everyone. I am Celia. I am the School Manager Success at Edpuzzle. I am in charge of schools in the UK and Europe, and I want to explain today why more than 35,000 schools use Edpuzzle to boost their class using videos. When I say this number, I mean teachers creating video lessons weekly. For those of you who don't know Edpuzzle yet, Edpuzzle is an easy-to-use platform to make any video your lesson. It is clear that video lessons have arrived to stay. For instance, more than 90% of the students go to YouTube when they want to learn something new. With Edpuzzle, teachers can create video lessons in minutes in a very secure way. So, Edpuzzle is a secure video platform where you can find any video that you like from YouTube, National Geographic, Khan Academy, or of course you can upload your own, embed notes and questions, open-ended questions, multi-choice questions, audio notes. So we are really promoting here active video learning. Then teachers assign videos to their class. This is very easy because Edpuzzle can be integrated with Google Classroom or your LMS. Teachers can also track progress and have access to all students' data and analytics. Also, with Edpuzzle resource library, you can share video content with other teachers at your school and find millions of videos by year or subjects in minutes. This really, really helps teachers assigning quality videos that are curricula aligned, and they make sure that the video has some quality.
Brilliant. That's really, thank you, Celia. One of the questions we always like to ask on the show, as you've probably picked up this evening already, is a little bit about what makes your solution unique or different. So how would you highlight some of the key things that differentiate your solution?
Well, I think that Edpuzzle is a key platform that helps teachers with hybrid education, but also in a very engaging way for students. With Edpuzzle, there is more quality classroom time. Teachers can support the students adapting to the different learning styles in class, while students learn content at their own pace. How we do that? When using a video to deliver content, the first thing teachers worry about is whether the students watch the video or not, understood the content or not. This is what I truly think makes Edpuzzle special, because it gives teachers kind of superpowers. You can track who watched the video, how much time each of your students spends watching the video, and you have immediate access to results. With Edpuzzle Analytics, teachers can make informed decisions and use class time more effectively also. What I mean by that is that Edpuzzle is the easiest way to flip your class. Most of us at Edpuzzle have been teachers. I was a teacher myself for so many years, and we understand the frustration teachers feel when they spend most of their time repeating the same content over and over again. Using Edpuzzle to flip your class saves time. Students love learning in a very interactive way, and teachers can better support the students in the classroom.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As I think you know, Celia, I'm a huge fan of those superpowers you talk about. I mean, it's not just the ability to quiz the learners on the things you're asking them to do outside of class. It's also other superpowers inside Edpuzzle, things like the ability to make it so that children can't, because I was that if I was a child in a modern age, this would be me. I would be trying to skip through the video straight to the questions. You can exactly. So there's loads of lovely things about Edpuzzle that have made it something that's been a firm sort of favourite in my toolkit for many years. Celia, have you got any? There are lots of schools using the solution. We've got Daren, for example, who's presenting later, talking about how his trust of 58 schools are using Edpuzzle. Could you share any other ways that Edpuzzle sort of helps support teachers with teaching and learning? Because obviously, you mentioned flipped learning and how Edpuzzle supports flipped learning, but how has Edpuzzle really come into its own, would you say, during the last 9 months of the pandemic?
Well, I had 3 different things, but I think I've run out of time, so I'm just gonna start from the end. So now we want to support teachers through a new program, which is very, very exciting. At least for me, that I'm in the UK market. Schools in the UK can get Edpuzzle for free until the end of July 2021. If they want to try our platform, they can send me an email at I don't know if you can, well, at celia@edpuzzle.com. I don't know if after I will have the chance to just write my email somewhere or something like that. And I think this is the best way we have to support schools. We've done this in the US during 2020, and it really helped millions of teachers. And now we want to do the same for schools in the UK. I truly hope that we can support teachers this way through 2021. It looks a bit challenging. I don't want to talk about 2021 that much, but if Edpuzzle can do this for schools in the UK, I am here to help, to share my email address, so you can reach me out at any time, and we will try to help schools in this sense.
Fantastic. And that's a really generous offer there to have it available to schools for the next 6 or 7 months. So that's a great...
Until the end of the year, yes.
So you heard it here first, celia@edpuzzle.com, if you want to find out more. Brilliant. Wishing you very happy holidays. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Fantastic.
Oh, high praise there, Mr.
Anderson. As well. Sorry, that's a great offer, free access to Edpuzzle right through into the end of the academic year. And as I say, it's something that I've championed for a long time, and it's something that I've used in the classroom myself. It's a really versatile tool. It's even been good sort of flipping the flip, that thing of mine where I actually get the students to create the flip learning resources, and all of that's available within the platform as well. It's a really good tool to try and engage with and can support teaching and learning under a wide variety of synchronous and asynchronous activities and remote learning and all of that stuff. I'm clearly a fan, so I'll be quiet now. Our next tool solution to join us on the show tonight is Myedtechbuddy, and joining us on the show is Daren White. Welcome, Daren.
Hi, gents. Good evening. This is Essex calling. Oh, sorry, we're not doing TV shows anymore.
and the results from the jury are
terrible, quite frankly. I'm loving the purple cracker. That is brilliant. Love that.
Well, welcome to the show, Daren.
You call the cracker.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really looking forward to it. I was geeking out backstage because I'm a massive fan of Edpuzzle as well.
Excellent. Well, it's always nice. Part of the benefit of the community we really try and promote here is the fact that you can get so many other people that will share their own experiences and validate some of these solutions. So that's both yourself and Mark for a big thumbs up with experience from the solution.
Definitely.
So you've probably figured out the format for our 5 minutes of fun, Daren.
Yep.
So can we kick it off with tell us about your solution or what you're doing?
Yeah. So basically, I've been a teacher for 22 years, and I've been a senior leader for about 10 of those. I'm a modern language specialist with no IT background whatsoever. So all of my IT experience is completely self-taught because I managed to get talked out of doing IT when I was at school by our careers advisor because they said it'd be a flash in the pan So that was close, you know. So with lockdown, I've found myself at a little bit of a loose end sometimes, and I decided to apply for the first virtual Google Innovator Academy, VIA 20. And as part of that, we had to come up with our how might we, and mine was to focus on how we can encourage and engage those existing fantastic teachers that are out there that have been teaching similar lengths of time as myself, or even longer in some cases, and they've got fantastic classroom practice, fantastic knowledge, but for whatever reason they're reluctant to use the technology in the classroom. So I wanted to be able to support those teachers and also newly qualified teachers and trainee teachers in developing their confidence with technology in the classroom, because through various conversations and some polls and things like that, I found out that quite a lot of trainee teachers aren't given any real training on using technology in the classroom. You know, and that might be because leaders feel that, you know, they're dreaded, and I hate the term digital natives, but probably that they'll just work it out for themselves, which is, it was obviously quite naive. But equally for those more experienced teachers, you know, what they were telling me was that watching a video once or having somebody stand at the front of the hall for a CPD session as a one-off showcase doesn't work for them. They need repetition. They need to walk it through 3 or 4 times to really get it to stick. So I wanted to create something that was free and accessible, because I do a lot of work for charity, mate, but I don't like to talk about it. And that's where my EdTech Buddy came from.
Fantastic. Well, you're talking to the right audience when it comes to recognizing and empathy in terms of those challenges for confidence of utilizing EdTech in the classroom. It's something that Mark and I have shared lots of different topics on as part of our DigStrat guide as well. So I guess one of the interesting ones really to kind of ask is about, you know, taking what you're doing is, was the focus because you recognize the need, which we absolutely all agree, or because you were really struggling to find an alternative way for teachers to connect with those kind of tech mentors, for want of a better term?
It was a little bit of both, really. As somebody who provides training or within my 2 schools that I work for, and now across the trust and as part of the EdTech Demonstrator program, I was finding it very frustrating that people were almost kind of switching off and not getting involved. And obviously you have to break down those barriers because they're there for a reason. And it's very easy to say, well, this is really simple, you just need to do it. But like you said, the ability to empathize and see things from other people's point of view is really important. So I've tried to get into the classroom a lot more and sit in the room with teachers and just look at how their lessons are going in a non-judgmental way, but to try and develop some coaching aspects of that. And that's why, you know, Myedtechbuddy, I put it together using IRAD, which is one of the sponsors, because that enables you to physically follow the guide, to click, to hover, to type where you need to. So you physically have to do what it is we're talking about, rather than watching it on a big screen or watching it on YouTube. And then I just followed those up with skills assessments at the end of each unit, and then decided to put together a graduate program to offer some bonuses to those people as an incentive. And both IRAD and Moat, which is a fantastic voice feedback tool, and also Book Creator, which the majority of the product is built on, all offer fantastic perks for the graduates as well. So it's been really, really busy. It's been really well received. There's been some really good feedback. So yeah, it's been going well.
Fantastic.
Super. It's interesting you mentioned Moat, actually. Just Moat were on the show last time talking about their solution. So nice to see the sort of the connection there. I've lost track of time myself as it goes, Al. Sorry, God. Yeah. So if you want to find out more about this and engage with the process and sort of get access to the resources and all the rest of it, Daren, how do people go about finding out about that and getting involved? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Ranga the Trainer on Twitter, or also at MyEdTechBuddy. And there's also a bit.ly scrolling across the screen there, bit.ly / MyEdTechBuddy app will take you straight to the app, and everything's explained there, really. But it's completely free. You can do it at your own speed, and then show your badges off afterwards.
Fantastic. And never a more relevant time to be promoting resources like that. So good on you, sir, on that one.
Cheers. And off the back of that, actually, I should just say, yesterday I launched the first 2 units of Myedtechbuddy Office Edition to support the support staff within schools as well.
Brilliant. And that's really good to hear as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, not the first time we've heard of a really innovative Google Innovator kind of project being led, and it's great to see another one on the list. So fantastic. Thank you, Daren.
Thanks, guys. Have a great Christmas.
Thanks for sharing, Daren. I think it's a really great project. So thank you.
Cheers.
Keep safe, sir.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks a lot. Fantastic stuff, Mr. Kingsley.
I like it.
So we are almost at the end of the show, but it's almost like we're going to go back to the beginning with our last guest this evening, who joined us right at the beginning of the show and had a few audio issues. And our show producer says she managed to delete the cracker by mistake. Unfortunately, there's no cracker to welcome Katie back onto the stage. But welcome back, Katie. Hope things are okay now with you.
Hi, yeah, I hope you can hear me okay and see me okay.
That's much better.
That's much better. Much better. Brilliant stuff, Katie. So look, I'm keen to find out, because I heard some great I heard Gogglebox, I heard, entrepreneur, I heard, some great words that get me all excited about what time is, but I'm still not quite sure what it is. So could you share what time is for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our launch today, which is crazy that we had technical issues. But Basit Siddiqui is the co-creator of T.I.M.E, so with myself. And we met during lockdown, and we talked about how our life as teachers, and how there's so much content out there for teachers, for parents, for students. Like, where do you go? It's sometimes quite daunting. It can be overwhelming and confusing. And where's the most credible place to look? So we then started creating this T.I.M.E platform. And Basit, he has another sort of personality where he's on Gogglebox, which is why you had that being mentioned.
Right.
But he's not just a member of the Siddiqui family on Gogglebox. He's actually an educator, he's a motivational speaker and an entrepreneur as well. So it's really great to be working with him. So the solution, imagine if you're a school and you wanted to create the ultimate inset day with leading thinkers and speakers from around the UK. Imagine selecting contributors without the shackles of budget or geography, and imagine everyone in the school community benefiting. Well, T.I.M.E will enable that to become a reality in schools. It's a revolutionary digital training platform for UK teachers, parents and students. It's a training tool for teachers. It's a space where parents and children can access life skills, support and advice that they need. So the T.I.M.E platform features online modules delivered by UK education and business specialists. And to assemble such expertise in a physical setting would be impossible for schools or academies to achieve. But we can do it in time.
Fantastic. Now, I have to confess, I know a little bit more about T.I.M.E because I've had the pleasure of talking to the team about it. And I have to say, I think it's a fantastic solution they're building. For the benefit of everybody listening, tell us a little bit about the different strands that you're focusing on, Katie, because I think that's something that's really special in terms of that breadth of offer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so what we were thinking is with our sort of network and our reach that Basit and I have with our other companies, that we could speak to really credible people in the UK who are doing fantastic stuff, and we could sort of showcase them on this platform and send it out to schools. And, we have to be really thankful of our sponsors. So NetSupport and Yes Futures, who have contributed to this, means that it's dramatically cheaper for schools to access this, so really reducing the cost for them. And there's going to be 3 areas. So there's a platform that the teachers can access, and that will have personal well-being, financial planning and career progression, all modules on there that they can access. There's an area for parents to access, and that's going to offer guidance and support on a real range of topics, but that's in an anonymous way. So it reduces the stigma for parents who perhaps are reluctant to seek help or advice with behavior or bullying or anything to do with cyber and internet. And then there's a student platform as well, where we're going to showcase essential life skills, aspirations, and sort of confidence building skills in a variety of ways. But there's a couple of unique things to the platform as well. So Bassett has created some digital assemblies, workshops and resources from Siddiqui Education, but he's also putting on, and this is really exciting, an exclusive workshop that he does called Let's Pitch It, and it's part of a national television competition. So it's designed to develop transferable skills, aspirations of students for all ages. It gives students the chance to develop their research, planning, creative, entrepreneurial and digital skills by creating and promoting a TV concept. So all students and schools involved in this get a chance to win an all expenses paid trip to London to meet the creators of Gogglebox, and they get spending money and resources for their school as well. So that's going to be all part of the platform and much more.
Superb. That sounds really, really interesting, and so much in there, Katie. One of the questions for this evening is, as we ask every episode, is how does it best support and serve your audience? But I think you kind of addressed that really with that response there. But one that I will dig into a little bit, because there are other CPD providers. Have you got any other sort of differentiators? Because it's difficult, you know, if you're a person who's got responsibility for arranging CPD, a large part of the success of any CPD in school is about context and all those sort of things. How do you plan on sort of approaching and dealing with that sort of thing in relation to any schools that sign up to the packages you have on offer?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to start with, you know, the cost being so low means that training costs for schools, it's going to be under £10 a staff, and so for a whole year. So that's, you know, really cheap. But the platform itself is really intelligent. So we can use the analytics of the platform to feed back to schools, to let them know what their staff are looking for and what their staff really want. So then they can focus their budget in a really clear, precise way, rather than just getting in a guest speaker. And also the people that we've spoken to and the people that contributed to the site, their services will be on offer as well. And schools will know and understand that person and see if it's a right fit for their school, for their community and for their staff.
I think that's a really important point that Katie was sharing. It's like kind of that win-win of an ecosystem. You've got a fantastic content available, but it's also a springboard for those providing content that then can provide some more focused or specialized one-to-one if necessary. But there's real breadth to it. And it, like all these things, at the moment, we're looking at innovative ways, aren't we, to deliver training in CPD and enrichment. And that, to me, ticks so many boxes. So how do schools go about finding out more, Katie?
Yeah, so we're going to launch the platform in January, but what we're doing is saying a little thank you to schools who are joining us early on this journey, because the content will evolve and change and adapt. That if they sign up before May 2021, they will get actually till August 2022 to use the platform and inform some of this journey as well. So content that they would love to see on the platform, they can write to us and we can sort that out. So if they can register an interest at www.time-training.com. I had to think about that then.
It is the launch today, after all, so you'll get used.
I'm not used to saying it.
And you're on Twitter at Time-Edu, I believe. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, that's right. And if there's people out there which might be interested in contributing to the content on the platform as well, then they can email us at hello@time-training.com. And we'd love to speak to them, because this is about showcasing what the UK has to offer.
Absolutely. Well said there, Katie. And it's very rare in school we ever hear the conversation about ways to save time. So this will be something completely different. Fantastic. Yeah, really, really pleased for you to come on. And thank you for sticking around for the end of the show and sharing. I'm really glad you did. It would have been a real shame to have missed this exciting launch.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for like Al said, and actually it's something, you know, that perseverance. You know, it could be quite easy for you to go, oh, I'm not going to do it, you know, and run away. But sticking with it and coming back and doing it again and being so good at your presentation as well, Katie, is really good. So thank you so much for coming back and joining us. Thank you.
Have a lovely holidays.
Yes, take care. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, and to you, Katie. Take care.
Well, that was a good way to wrap up the show, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a lovely solution. And how much better was her bandwidth? It was so much better then. So thank you so much, Katie. Thank you to all of our guests this evening who've joined us, who I say we could do a roll call, but we'd probably be here for another half an hour. There've been so many great takeaways from the show this evening. In a world where I'm sure we're all tired, I hope you found all these solutions and services of interest. We're back again in January for another fun and interesting product services packed show on the 19th of January from 7 p.m. onwards. Have we got any spoilers for the next show, Al? Can we give away any spoilers?
No, actually, we've actually got. I mean, it's fantastic. We're booked out for a good few shows now. Although, absolutely encouraging anybody with solutions to come along and join in. Want to hear you and continue to give the voice. There'll be a few interesting surprises for the January show, but I think everyone's heads will be spinning from so many different solutions and services to go away and investigate tonight. I think the most important message is this is all about sharing. The Check It Out show is absolutely about that. It's about sharing great solutions and also kind of fostering and giving a voice to people. And I wanted to share a big thanks not only to yourself and to Katie behind the scenes, but most importantly, a thank you to everybody who's taken part in the show over the last 3 episodes for coming on and giving us so many fantastic ideas to take away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll just finish off by just saying, wishing everyone a fantastic holiday and break. And if you celebrate it, Christmas over the next few weeks. Thank you so much. And wishing you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Stay safe, everybody.